Cool.
There's that. Okay.
Getting all my things ready to go here. Yeah, unfortunately, Yakul is like 4x3 instead of 6x9. So you get to see weird things on either side of Yakul. Don't know what I can do about that.
Embrace the weird.
Yeah, exactly. Because as you all know, this is what it looks like when Yakul is up. So you kind of.
Oh wow!
Hi.
Oh. Well,
a little strange.
Is that a thing? Yeah.
So whatever. Already some well wishes for you there, John, in the chat.
Oh, let's go over here. Oh, thank you, John. Appreciate it. Tacos nearly done killed me, but that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what they say: what doesn't kill you just makes you
weaker,
violently sick.
Yeah, exactly.
Violently ill, wishing for death, enjoying the coolness of the bowl.
Yep.
Yeah, so I saw that part of the comment. I'm like, oh, jeez. It does happen when you eat, things happen. So.
Not everything agrees with us all the time, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's just life. I can adjust this a little bit. Yeah, it's a little better. Slightly better view of things. There we go. Maybe not too bad. Takoyaki tacos? That'd be a good idea. Takoyaki tacos.
I would like takoyaki tacos.
Indeed, wouldn't we all?
Okay, that's a good track name.
Takoyaki tacos
on an album. Yeah. That sounds like a Cowboy Bebop, OST track name.
It does.
Now I'm trying to figure out would it be a fast-paced tune, or would you run it like kind of a slow lounge groove?
Oh yeah. Maybe sort of a Mexican guitar sort of riff in the background.
Yeah, because it sounds like it would be fast, takoyaki tacos.
Mm-hmm.
It would be like frenetic action kind of thing. But if you took that and just did the exact opposite and made it like kind of
actually,
cool,
you could do it like a
groove.
Well, like a Charles Mingus bass line, snare drum.
Yeah, I need to get better at some of these online music writing apps. I'd love to get into that and just, start composing some of these tunes. That'd be fun.
We'll play more Demo.
All you need
and get the songs off of Demo.
Demo. I mean, honestly, just go on your phone and get the Garage Band, and then pull up the little tie instrument, and you can just do the.
Every week.
I am scare the crap out of cats.
All right, and hello everyone. Oops, let's turn that off. Let's turn that off. There we go. Took a second. Welcome, archaeologists. It is Sunday night, and that means it's time for the weekly dig. For anyone new to the stream, this is a live show where we dig into anime old and new. I am Brent. These are my fabulous co-hosts, John.
Konbanwa, Mina. It's good to be back.
Glad you're back.
Thank you.
And hail and hearty. And Steve?
I'm here. Didn't get sick. Glad you're back, John.
Thank you.
Indeed.
Glad you're feeling better.
Very glad you could be here because we're going to start our dig tonight by digging back into 8th MS Team.
Yes.
So yes, today we're going to be talking about episodes 4 through 6 of Mobile Suit Gundam: The 8th MS Team. Last week we looked at first 3 episodes, which are kind of introduction, kind of getting everyone together, kind of figuring all that stuff out. And now we've got something a little more, a little heavier going on here as we get into 8th MS Team and episode 4, The Demon Overhead.
Dun, dun, dun.
Indeed. So this episode begins with a bit more about Xeon, actually, and dealing more with some of the background of the various characters and the hotshot pilot character. Gotta have him. Required by law.
Yeah.
Required by Slegger law. I'm sorry. I apologize for that pun.
Dun, dun,
dun. We get a little bit more with our various characters, kind of the issues that they're dealing with between brother and sister. What were your thoughts on kind of the revealing of kind of the relationship between these two? It's a little contentious with fans. It's kind of, having this kind of brother-sister relationship, and would a sister kind of do this for a brother, and this kind of thing, all kinds of stuff. As this was unfolding, kind of, what did you guys think of this?
I thought Brocon the whole way. And on her brother's part, Siscon completely.
Mm-hmm.
It left me kind of wondering whether, again, not having a deeper understanding of the political universe of Gundam, whether there was something here about factions and Xeon and what's happening, and it didn't sort of surprise me. It's like that she's helping her brother out. She's so devoted to her brother. It's kind of still creepy, whether I'm watching another anime or watching this, but you know what I mean? I kind of took that as a par for the course, and then just trying to figure out what am I missing about the political intrigues of Xeon.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. In fairness, one of the things that does come across a bit more strongly in other Gundam series is that Xeon is a very young nation.
Yeah.
So it's still kind of figuring out its identity. How aggressive should it be? How aggressive shouldn't it be? So you absolutely do get these different people within the different organizations where we should be just, doing this, we should be doing that. There's no consistency really across a lot of things.
So when you first see this, one of the first things that you think about though is, well, you're on the front lines. Why do we have this ballroom inside the side of a mountain? But when you stop it kind of makes sense a little bit, because these people live on sides, and this is kind of what they're used to in kind of enclosed, kind of things and structures like this. And it is, and to your point, Brent, it's not like these families have been around for hundreds of years. They're talking maybe 3 or 4 generations top. But they've definitely established a sort of hierarchy, which is based on not necessarily nobility, but money. And old money and new money, and that kind of thing that's going on here. And so a name means a lot of things. So the brother and sister are able to procure this program to make this new tech to finally just end the frickin' war. But it's based on basically money. How do you do it and influence and power? So when you see all these people kind of all dressed up like this, and you have this regality and this attempt at nobility that really doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's kind of a nouveau riche society.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
And the Zabi family is actually what you would call old money. Because the Zabis have been, it's established that the Zabis have been around since the beginning, and so you have these hanger-on families that attach their fortunes to various factions within Xeon, and Zabi family happens to be among the more powerful ones, and that usually has to do with wealth. Wealth is a big deal in the Gundam universe for the Xeons, and that's a big part of it. But then you start seeing things like loyalty, if you take back the pilot, not this guy, not the buffoon here, but go back out to outdoors when him. I forget his name. This is the guy. This is
Thunder Creep. Yeah.
Well, you actually are going to get to like him
Mm.
as the series goes on. He's not quite on the level of Rambo Rawl, but
Yeah.
he's somebody who's just like, okay, I'm dedicated to this ideal. I'm a soldier, and I understand what she's trying to do, and I'm dedicated to this.
Mhm.
And so you see more along the lines of this guy's in a total different class than these other people. He is not a family.
He looks like Frankenstein.
He
Just
does.
I mean,
He
he's
does.
got a
Doesn't
very
help.
distinctive
Doesn't help.
look.
Mhm.
But he
Yeah.
doesn't have money. His prestige
Mhm.
comes from his ability in combat.
Mhm.
And one of the reasons why they don't like the big buffoon guy that comes in is because this guy is where he is through privilege.
Mhm.
He has skill, but he's where he's at through privilege, where everyone else is kind of having to prove that they need to be there. The brother and sister, while they put on airs, their family is not as important as the other guy's family is. And
Yeah.
that's why he's able to look down and they all kind of look at him and go, God, what a bore. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of sort of unstated politics.
Yeah, there's a lot of class structure going on
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Which is actually quite interesting for a society like Japan that is so they call it having the universal middle class, right? Where they were really focused in the post-war period by creating this broad middle class. Just seeing this focus in a society on class, like, there's a saying, I think the Pythons say, actually everything you ever see in the United Kingdom is a joke about class. It's fundamental to kind of how everything we see is through the lens of class. And it is kind of funny how you do kind of see that a lot in this. And it actually kind of reflects also on what you see in with Shiro and the others, where it is very much not that. It is very much equals.
Right.
Shiro is very much about saying, no, we're all in this together. We're all just kind of soldiers on the front line. I am certainly the leader, and I'm gonna make use of that, but it's a much more flat organization.
It's much more egalitarian, if you will.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Do you think that the factionalism of Zeon is kind of a callback to like the whole Zaibatsu kind of culture?
Oh yeah,
of
absolutely.
Pre-war and during war Japan.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that kind of monetary and who's important and who's
who. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Because
Absolutely.
that kind of like as you're saying this is like that kind of rings
Yep.
through my head to be like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It totally fits. And it kind of also helps to explain some of the plot of this episode, because you find out that Pretty Boy here is heading up this Xeon research facility, and what he's very good at is projecting well in front of other people.
Yeah.
And not so much behind the scenes, kind of keeping it all together. And he's not obviously falling apart, but you realize it's very stressful for him. And again, getting back to some of these unstated things, is this idea that, he didn't just bankroll this.
Yeah.
His reputation, all of that really relies on this thing that they're building.
And he ain't well.
Nope, he is not.
Although his hair is fantastic.
It's perfect. Perfect hair.
Absolutely.
No.
And so the main plot of this episode is kind of the introduction of the giant mecha that they are testing with Xeon, and how kind of ridiculous it is in terms of power and such.
Well, just visually, I was trying to figure. I'm looking at this thing flying around. I'm like, wow, holy crap, this thing's huge. But you can still see like there's a Zaku
right. There's a Zaku head.
Right. I'm like okay, interesting. So, is this one of these things where you're not operating in your native environment, so you're getting parts and pieces and bits and stuff to work with, but you don't have a giant manufacturing facility readily available to just spontaneously create something anew. So you're just cobbling some stuff parts together to put the pilot cockpit from a Zaku in this stuff and then kind of clap it all together.
So I think it's partly that. I think it's also just like, we solved the sensor problem with this head configuration, so we'll just bolt that on. Like, there's no point reinventing the wheel. We'll just reuse that piece of tech because it works.
This is a proven technology that we'll incorporate. Okay.
Exactly. It's also I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this was a "wouldn't it be hilarious if" moment in the writers' room.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's take a head. The artist was kind of drawing and stuck a Zaku head up on topic. That's hilarious. Go for it.
Yeah. It's a super crazy machine and a little skull.
Like a little Zaku head, and they're just like, "Oh, he'll never make it in." Then they watch it. Oh my god! Wait, how'd that happen?
And it should also be pointed out. I mean, on the one hand, this is not a typical, obviously, Xeon design.
Yeah.
It also does kind of reflect back on like the Xeon and the I'm forgetting the name of Lala Soon's ship. I'm sorry, I'm bad at otaku. But a lot of these just more kind of abstract designs for ships.
Right.
And that is kind of interesting because it does suggest that this is unusual. This is a remarkable ship. It's not meant to have all the normal functions. It's kind of stripped down for one thing and one thing only.
Yeah.
So I kind of like the visual idea of that. That this is just the giant sphere that does the thing, basically.
Menacingly. It does.
Well, this is supposed to be the weapon that's going to end the war, which you come to find that the brother and the sister don't particularly like. You know, and we'll talk about it, I guess, in coming up in the next couple episodes. But you know, they're just like, let's just end the freaking thing by making the most monstrous thing that we can. That will destroy so much, because as you're watching them put this, not necessarily put together, but they're testing it and they're flying it around and stuff like that. You notice that they're not doing anything in space.
Right.
This weapon is meant for Earth, and it's meant to destroy things on the Earth. They're aiming to just end the war by just wiping out as much as they can. And this is supposed to be the uber weapon. It's not like the Gundam, which was a response to the Zaku. You know, the Zaku here, you have this nimble flying thing, and then we're just like, the Fetties are just like, well, we got to make something to counter that. So here's the Gundam. This is something totally different. It doesn't need to be a mecha. It doesn't need to be anything. It just needs to just kill as much as possible to end the war. It just
needs to
quickly.
Be a doomsday weapon. That's all.
Yeah. Well, no, that literally. Yeah.
Almost like an atomic bomb.
Yes. Imagine that.
Kinda. Sort of. So
in that picture you have of a blasted hellscape. Yes.
Just saying. This is really structurally, this is just kind of introduce, okay, here's what's actually going on with Xeon. And then of course the poor HMS team stumbles across this and they're like, oh, but no. What do we do? Like, I think we could shoot it, I guess.
Kill it with fire. Kill it dead.
Yeah, it doesn't work so well. But it also, of course, introduces for us the star-crossed lovers idea here. We find out, okay, we're gonna have these. Our two main characters kind of focus on that. So
that's the Romeo and Juliet moment.
Yeah. So
which we already had when they were in space anyway.
True.
So.
But kind of more of an establishing structure kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But I do like this episode for the fact that it does kind of set all this stuff up. And it is, I actually, in a weird way, like how mundane the episode is in a sense, where it's kind of this connective episode of, more information about these characters, more information about what's going on with the stuff they're building, more stuff around, again, like sort of Xeon politics, stuff around what's going on with the HMS team. The fact that they don't try to make every episode just explosively new and different, I think works well for this particular episode.
Well, it is nice to have background on, like, where if you had just had a giant machine show up, like,
right?
It's not nearly as really interesting to ask the questions of, like, okay, well, what's the genesis of this machine? Like, what are they doing? What Xeon's trying to achieve here? Who's behind all this? Why why did this suddenly appear out of nowhere? And that she's the pilot. You know what I mean? It's like, I like that. Thank you. I like some connective tissue to this because, again, I don't have the grander universe kind of understanding. So it helps me to dial into the fact that, hey, Gundam isn't just fight of the week.
Right.
You've got other things that are stewing in the pot. So here's an episode to appreciate the things that are stirring. Like, oh, gotcha.
Speaking of which, similar thing for episode 5, really, which is our episode where our desertion episode, so to speak.
Yeah.
Where Eleanor decides to run off and kind of have some fun in a nearby village, which is not a good idea.
Yeah, that worked out poorly.
Turns out. So basically, Eleanor, our resident rock musician, discovers that his song is going to get played on the radio. And so, for reasons, decides to run off and kind of celebrate the local town, which, of course, bless you, is taken over by Zia. So, good job there.
The first telltale sign would have been like all the construction crew around the village, but hey, what do I know? But
well, also as an active war zone, going AWOL.
If
they catch you and they're feeling kind of nice about it, they could just court-martial you, or they could shoot you.
Right.
Not a good way to cap your career, getting onto the radio and be like, yes, now this deceased artist's new song. Nice.
We will get nothing else out of him.
Yeah.
But to your point, so this does a couple of really useful things. One thing it does is set up kind of what's going on with various characters. You get how Shiro reacts to this, which is, well, that was bad for them to do, but what are we going to do now? Right? He doesn't freak out. He doesn't start, raging around. He's like, okay, we're going to do X, going to do Y, we're going to do Z. We'll wait for this long, so forth and so on. And I do love that about Shiro, that he's this focused individual.
He doesn't get caught in the weeds. I think the actual line I think is, okay, you know what? We're going to worry about that later. Let's focus on this. Exactly. It's just kind of like, believe it or not, that's actually the less important thing. We got to worry about this whole big thing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You also get a bit more about what's going on with Zeon. I do love the scene where Mother's trying to get help for her child, and the Zeon soldiers are harassing her.
Yeah.
And the characters are like, you know what, this sucks. Like, this is terrible. Like, it shouldn't happen. But what are you gonna do, right?
Yeah, well, he points out, he's just like, well, the enemy is out there. We can't just let them go. That's a thing. That's why they have the question. You're driving a truck and there's a cliff sides on either side of you, and there's a kid in the road. They used to ask this in the Army and go, what do you do? The right answer is actually run over the kid. That's what you got to do. And so that's what he's kind of pointing out to her. He's just like saying, this does suck, but you know what? We're in a war. What if they go and tell the Feddies that we're here? Then we have to do all these other things. So,
yeah, absolutely. And so, we get our characters. That was according to the full convention to the Geneva Convention. Everything's fine. They tripped, fell down the stairs, right? And then, of course, our heroes come in to try to save them. And they break out through sheer beating each other up, basically.
Yeah.
So Eleanor just has a mental breakdown. He's just like, oh my God, I'm never gonna. And they start beating up on each other. And the poor guy, I actually sympathize with the guard a little.
Yeah, me too.
He's sitting out there. He's just like, okay, I'm off of this. I'm here in this planet. I'm trying to read this magazine about places to go on this planet, whatever. And God, these guys, they're going to die in the morning. Why are they fighting out?
Yeah, shut up, there, you idiots.
Yeah, he's just like, all I want to do is just sit here and read. And why are you? Okay, fine. Don't make me come in there, you two.
Yeah, exactly. Did this scene work for you guys?
Well,
Oh.
I think if it was shorter, then it would, yeah. But like the whole, like, you know, with Eleanor cracking up and then, you know, trying, and then MacLeod trying to, you know, help him, and then just erupting into a fist fight took way too long. But I think it worked for me insofar in that, you know, by the end of it, the payoff was that, you know, dude gets knocked out, and they're like, oh, wait, here we go. We're like Abbott and Costello here, you know,
Yeah.
Mutt and Jeff. And So the payoff was fine, but I think the lead up was a little long.
Well, I would like to have seen a more serious consideration of the situation, and that I don't have a problem with how things laid out, but it would be I didn't write it. I'm not a writer, but I would like to have seen a payoff at the end. Be like, okay, good, that worked. I'd be like, wait a minute, so that you would have at least some question of. So did you plan this? Did you not plan it? You know, as opposed to being like, oh, it's just kind of sort of semi-goofy stuff going on. You're not really paying much attention to the fact you're about to be executed in the morning.
So, it's a little soap opera writing for me.
Yeah. So I think that with a tweak word or two extra, you could have been like, okay, this makes absolute sense why they've gone like, crazy here in the wine cellar. But
yeah, exactly.
Again, I didn't write it.
That's fine. Here, and then basically our heroes manage to get out not easily.
Yeah.
And I do really appreciate this, that like they're beat up. They have to do this, and like Eleanor gets shot. Like, like it's not like, oh well, then we run back and yay, hello, Commander. Yeah. Like it's a really rough experience for them.
Well, it gives you a good appreciation for the fact Eleanor has like some particular problem. Shut the hatch. No, I'm not going to shut the hatch.
Yeah.
Shut the hatch. Like, what's wrong that he refuses so vehemently about that? Is he claustrophobic? No, because we've seen them in the in the Hubbard tank.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, so I'm curious, will they address why did he do that? Oh, it's hot in there. So what?
I think what it is that he's actually is that he's not really used to piloting. anything, and that if you're not used to something, what's natural is what you see with your eyes. It's just like flying a plane for the first time, and they tell you to trust your instrumentation, not your senses. And he's trusting his senses and not into the instrumentation. MacLeod could probably get them out pretty easily because that's what he's actually trained to do.
Yeah, he's got the training for it.
Eleanor does not have the training for it, and Eleanor does not become focused until he gets hurt. Yeah, and pain, and for those of us who used to play sports, we all know that pain is an incredible clarifying event. He can go, oh, right, yeah, I need to do that thing. So Eleanor, once he gets into pain, he sees that he gets the shard in his leg, which would be enough. He also gets hit in the shoulder. He's just like, okay, fine, we're getting out of here.
Time to go.
But, But I just think I think it's just a matter that he's not trained to do it, so he doesn't know how to do it. And he actually does say, "I'm no good at doing this."
True.
Yeah. Well, is that an indication of no training, or is that an indication of I've been trained but I'm not comfortable with it? Because that was what I was trying to figure out. I'm like, he
not everybody's a pilot.
But I mean, he might have gone through basic on this. He's just not good at it. But we don't have any background on that. You know what I mean? So I just was kind of less scratching my head, be like, I'd rather have the armored door shut. I mean, even if I don't know what I'm doing and I'm flailing around, I prefer the protection.
If there's one thing I learned about that wartime documentary, Girls in Panzer, it's that you just leave the hatch open so you can see better, right? It's better to be able to view things.
Which is a genuine wartime thing to do. So I mean, that's makes sense. But that's also not a Gundam.
It's actually a good point, John. It's John in chat. It's possible too that Eleanor took like the equivalent of like flight sim training. So like he knows how to operate the controls, but he's never like been in an actual mobile suit.
Right.
So he's like, I know what these buttons do, but I'm totally uncomfortable in this environment. That would kind of make sense.
Right.
But yes, they do manage to make it out, not unscathed. And then you do get, I do love this little reunion, the very Ghibli style character reunion here between the two quote unquote old characters.
Yeah.
It's kind of sweet. And then I love and deeply appreciated the scene with Shiro and Mikau. when Shiro reprimands MacLeod and is like, "You idiot! Don't do that." But I am glad you're back.
Yeah.
Like it's punishment, but not rejection, which I thought was just so nice.
Well, it's also the acknowledgement that given the circumstances they're in, this is not something where you can march MacLeod off. Be like, that's it. You're going to the brig. You're going to jail. See you. You're done. It's like, no, it was stupid.
Yeah.
But they don't have a big enough team they could sacrifice any one of these people. They all play that critical role. So it's like, you're bad at doing this. Don't do that again. Glad you're back. Let's get on with the business.
Yeah. And MacLeod's 18.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of grace there of, okay, I recognize that you don't have the best judgment right here.
Yeah.
Didn't everybody have great judgment at 18? Come on.
Of course, yes.
Won't even go there.
And again, let's just, I want to give a moment to the artistry of this, that moment with the sunrise, the symbolism of kind of a new day, MacLeod getting a new chance, and just the gorgeous golds and purples of this scene. Like it looks nice, but it also had meaning, which is just so cool. Yes, and he'll be fine, as we discover from the boob grab. And then off he goes, strapped to the back of the Jeep, which is a great way to transport somebody who has internal injuries. Bouncing through the village, it'll be great.
Well, that's a way to guarantee that all the mixed up parts settle back into their proper role.
Yeah. Just kind of shake it down,
Yeah, totally.
But isn't this where we learn a little bit more about what's her name, Karen?
Oh, is this where that happens?
Yes, because she operates on him.
That's right. Right.
And they're like, how does she know how to do this? Well, her husband was a surgeon. Oh, she's married, and he's dead. Oh, okay. She's a widow. All right, got it.
Yeah.
But she has certain skills, and this is kind of like one of those throwbacks to Mobile Suit Gundam where people talk about like, what was Amuro's crush? What was her name?
Rawa?
Is that who it was? And who gets killed later on, and he actually serves with her fiance.
What?
Oh, what?
Okay, so in Mobile Suit Gundam, the officer with red hair.
Oh, Matilda. Right.
Amuro has a crush on Matilda.
Yeah,
she's engaged to get married. The thing happens, and then later on, he has to serve with her now widower. Well, and so it's kind of like a throwback to that, just saying, well, this is war, and he got killed, and so here's where they're at.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Wow.
And Dan in chat, you're right. I think the boob grab scene felt superfluous.
We didn't need that.
In bad taste, put it that way.
Yeah.
But yes. He'll be fine.
He'll be fine.
The torture helped to toughen him up before the gunshot.
Right, exactly.
Good.
That which does not kill you, right?
Makes you weak. Yes.
And we move on to the battle line on the burning sand. One of my favorite episodes. Just visually, just the whole element of them out in this desert, having to deal with the situation, having to just wait.
Yep.
For days and days and days. And the just kind of the drabness, the use of color here, the fact they kind of leached the color out of everything, because of course everything's covered in sand.
Yep.
But just how washed out all the colors are here. And then the revelation that this is the testing facility, and you have these gorgeously horrific beam hollows in the cliff walls.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was trying to figure out. I thought it was this is this like metal wall of a buried facility, and then like they're looking at it and like, oh, it's glass. I'm like, God damn. I'm like,
yeah, literally.
Okay,
yeah.
High energy weapon. Okay, fine. Yeah, gotcha.
Pretty much. Also, definitely a little bit of a Nausicaa vibe here. The idea of the high energy beam blasting through things. But yeah, and they just kind of have to wait with Kiki. Mikhail almost killed Shiro, which
Yeah.
This was a little bit of a weird scene here too, I think, because we've all either been around or kind of had that experience as a kid where you're working with your dad or your uncle or something, and you don't realize something, and they put their hand in the wood chipper or something.
Yeah.
But for a soldier out in the middle of something doing a repair operation, this felt extremely negligent.
Yeah.
And the fact that everyone just kind of shrugged it off, I found kind of surprising. Obviously, he gets yelled at a little bit, but it seems like, oh, well, should have done that. It's like,
he's just sad and distracted. He'll be fine.
Yeah, whatever. But we do get a little bit more about some of our characters' backstories. Again, Mikhail and his girlfriend?
Girlfriend?
Question mark.
BB.
Yeah. Hard to say.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. And I always forget about this little storyline. And every time I see this particular part of it, I keep thinking that it's the note that just says, yeah, we're done. See ya. Bye.
Right.
And then, this is the letter that ends everything. It's not, but it's that's...
And then Mikhail steps into the beam cannon.
Right.
No, not that.
No.
But I do like, again, sort of pacing wise, how they structure this. That this isn't just resolved immediately. That over the course of the episode, this kind of keeps coming back up, because it is the kind of thing that you would have in the back of your mind that you wouldn't want to talk to people about, that would just kind of be eating away at you. And isn't relevant to what's actually going on, but is actually really relevant to your mental state.
Yeah.
Because there's no let up on the boredom, but you have to keep doing the thing. You have to keep vigilant, and it's not easy to do that when nothing's happening. And so your mind is always wandering, and it's doing the thing. Now, if you're more experienced, if you're more of a veteran, you know what you have to do the things. There's always something that that you can be doing to keep your mind on task.
Well, like maintenance,
and
checking
things,
supplies.
And one of the points that they make about that is, what's his name, Reaper guy, is actually creating a well, and you actually see the physics of it, of what he's doing.
Yeah.
And he's keeping busy, even though these are like little weird. At first, they're just like little tiny things that he's doing, but you realize that they are actually meaningful things that he's doing. And it's interesting how Kiki is actually kind of watching everything and just kind of learning and kind of going, okay, got it. So as if to say, okay, this is useful in case I need to do this in the future. But these are like the little things that people keep themselves engaged with, so that you don't go, oh my God, what if, what is she doing now? What is she doing at this right second? What is she watching TV? What is she doing? Blah, 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 which Mikhail is doing. And he's just like, yeah, we're going to need water. So here we go.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, totally agree. And then of course you get the again, just make very well done scene where Kiki finds the letter, runs off, reads it, and then laughing the whole way, and then stops laughing.
Yeah.
At this point, I was like, how many languages can Kiki read? Because that letter was in French.
Was all in French. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she has the auto translator eye implant.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Absolutely. She's 17. She's experienced a lot of things in her life. Clearly,
Google's
most of
very
them
effective.
terrible, but
she went to Cuba on a mission trip. She traveled the world. I did. But yeah, again, just a lovely little moment. And again, I like that this comes between two young characters.
Right.
It's not an adult with Mikhail. It's 18-year-old, 17-year-old, just kind of having this moment of like, what do you do? I don't know. I just don't know. It's a tough moment. And of course, you know, as we realize later, this very much mirrors what's going on with Kiki and Shiro. And again, one of those things that they've kind of woven in slightly, like, you know, it's kind of there a little bit, and then to have it kind of blossom at this point in the OVA and realize, oh no, like she really has a thing for him.
Yeah.
Well, she's the only one of the group of people who's actually out there with them in the desert, sitting day by day. Like, okay, she's got a commitment to this that the other freedom fighters don't have.
Right.
Exactly. And again, just the lovely kind of imagery here, that the shot here I have of Kiki just alone. You know, the use of the off camera, right, where because she is feeling off with herself, the camera isn't centered, so she's off center literally. Just love kind of the visuals here. Kind of dealing with that. Just lots of nice little touches here. Here. And then, of course, the time comes. Also, it should be pointed out, we had this a little bit earlier, which kind of I like quite a bit. Was it here? Up here when they're dealing? Yeah. The drone?
Yeah.
Unmanned drones?
Yep.
You know, in OVA that came out in the 90s, that's pretty cool. They're thinking that far ahead to that kind of thing. It's like, wow, well done, Gundam. But yes, you know, eventually they're able to kind of to confront the enemy. And of course, doesn't go exactly particularly well. They do their best. As is kind of the thing. But we now have the actual connection. So here's where, and so again, one of the things that they have in Gundam is the idea that sound doesn't travel through space, but if two mobile suits, you know, stack up next to each other, then the sound can resonate through the shells, and so you can actually hear somebody else. And so they kind of reference that here when Shiro actually gets on top of the mobile suit and actually speaks. That resonance and that those frequencies can actually work, so that you actually hear each other. And so here's where they find out the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, it's you. Sorry for being stabby.
Exactly.
I'm going to attempt to kill you at this moment, but nothing against
you
you.
You look great. You look great in that jumpsuit, but you know, gotta kill you.
And again, I appreciate the storytelling here, where you would expect this to wait until episode 10. You know, and for him to not realize that until the climax. But no, like they realize that early on. Like we're on opposite sides of this war, and not just like I'm here and you're over there. Like we are literally facing each other in this one conflict. Yeah. That sucks.
Well, the power of love and friendship should win in the end, so it'll all be good.
She just wants her watch back.
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah, that's all.
I wouldn't even have been here if I could tell what time it was. Oh, fair enough.
Wasn't he supposed to be in today? Also, you just love the animation and editing of this sequence, just kind of the freneticism of it, or all the things going on, different people trying to do stuff. Just this, despite all the waiting, it's still this chaotic thing where just nothing quite goes right. And it feels that way. It feels very, very weird because of the fast cutting, and then just whenever you're doing this kind of thing. And one of the reasons I want to call it out is because when you're cutting rapidly between different things, the animation has to work. Otherwise, you can't tell what's going on. So the fact the sequence works means that like the visuals are very clear and crisp, and we can tell, oh, that's that. You know, you're not getting wobbly, weird animation where something that doesn't look like Gundam anymore. So, you know, applause for that. And off they go. Off Bina goes, I should say. As we're left with this wonderfully kind of odd ending. for episode 6. Like nothing's resolved. Nothing is better.
Yeah.
Certainly not better.
And we're just that's kind of where we are right now.
Well, it's not super worse,
No.
like, but I mean, that's sort of the vicissitudes of war. It's like some days are nothing. Some days are absolute horror. Other days are good.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. And that's where we stop at this point, halfway through Gonna Make Them Listening. What are you guys' thoughts at this point?
I'm looking forward to seeing how this goes.
Mm-hmm. Where do you think it's going to go?
I think you're going to have some very, very difficult choices that our two love-crossed pilots are going to have to make about where do they fall. Do they do their duty, which is therefore to keep fighting, or do they make a third choice? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how they could. You know what I mean? They're both in their respective militaries, so they can't just be like, let's elope. Be like,
no, that's not a thing. Yeah.
You're going to both end up shot. Either by the Feddies or by Xeon. One or the other is going to shoot you. So I will be very curious to see how it's going to go, how you can have star-crossed and not have one of them die.
Yeah.
But it easily could be. You know what I mean? Plenty of people can get killed these things. So
yeah.
Well, one of the things that makes this particular, and I'm trying to like dance around the spoilers, because it John, you have no idea how much I want to scream what's going to happen. You're going to go seriously, and because
I'm going to watch it get there.
Because it's different. What happens is different. And like it's totally different from what happens in other Gundam episodes.
The Zentradi show up and unite humanity and Xeon all together to fight the invading space aliens.
And then Ideon just wipes the slate clean.
And naked space babies. Damn it.
One of the things
I just have to say, just for those who know, there's actually an Ideon meme in like Japanese social media where folks will do like some mecha or some science fiction show. Somebody does an ultimate thing, whatever. And it just cuts to the Ideon going, just wiping it all clean.
And they're antsy. Oh.
So one of the things that you appreciate with this particular anime is how they really do want to talk about the day-to-day life of an average soldier. This isn't, again, we've talked about before how this is not Amuro Ray piloting the original Gundam, and he's a wonder kid who's can do no wrong, or not can do no wrong, but can't be beaten or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
And these are actual soldiers. I mean, the whole point of this is showing a unit in action, and it's not even a particularly like special units either. This is grunt work.
Yeah, these are the elite of the elite.
Right, exactly. This it's not Thunderbolt. Where you have particular
would you consider
snipers.
the Xeon side with the giant flying boat? Would you consider that to be kind of elite-ish?
I mean that, but I mean for what we're watching with the Fetty side.
Yeah, Fetty side is complete grunt work.
And one of the things that again, Sanders, that's his name. It makes the little makeshift well to get the water, and then you watch Kiki washing the dishes with sand, and for those of you who do who have been in the military or do reenactments or know military history, know that that's actually a legit way to clean your mess kit. That actually works. So to have there was somebody there on staff who either did a really good research job, or they kind of, saw, were there or had some type of experience with this. And it's just kind of neat to have a series that shows you a little bit of, but again, this is showing you how, like, okay, it's mundane. These are the things you have to do while you're waiting for death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they're doing. And, it's just a nice series in that fashion. Everything seems really grounded. And then, then you have, of course, the Xeon side of it, where they're trying to make the weapon that's supposed to be end of the war, which I do think makes it into the Mobile Suit Gundam original some way. I feel like it does. I'm not sure about that.
That flying boat thing makes it.
Yeah. It's somehow, but it's one of those things where it's just like, oh, here's the wonderful weapon that we're going to win the war, but we have no way of mass producing it. So here's the one thing that gets destroyed. Like, we make 2 or 3 of them, and that's it. But for that side, but then on that side, you're looking at more along the structures of the limitations of Xeon that they put on themselves with this class structure and trying to get things done. Here's a guy who's trying to make a weapon that's going to end the war. And you got another guy who's just like coming in, is just like going, here's the privileged son. Just let me know when the thing is done, and I'll fly it, whatever. Don't care. Don't give a rat's ass. But it's just it's much more grounded. Whereas, the other Gundam series, War is Hell. This is war.
Yeah.
This is the day-to-day thing. This is what we deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And I so want to talk about what happens next. Oh my god!
Look at there.
I can't wait for your reactions.
Resist the urge.
John, I cannot wait.
What percentage of the named characters that we follow do you think will survive? Like, given, and it's not a trick question, given the feel so far, like, where do you think they're aiming?
Well, I think Eleanor probably survives because he's already been shipped back to get healed up. So there's a chance that he might be out of the fray, but they're a man down. So there's a solid chance that Miguel in the hover tank, that'll get destroyed, and he'll die, or like he'll step in the way of a beam cannon because Keaton, his baby, will send him a terrible message. Reaper will sacrifice himself in a noble way where he dies. Karen will get killed as she's getting ready to go on leave to visit Eleanor. Let's see. So I think pretty much everybody Shiro.
Okay. What about the Xeon side?
Definitely pilot girl's gonna die.
So that's what I wanted to know. Like in these series, which often have a very like strong moralistic bent of like, you do bad things, you die. I'm interested that you feel like she's definitely on that side of things.
Yeah, I mean, I think she's the most thoughtful to the things that are going on in this war, and that her brother has a very clear agenda to make the killing machine, and jerkwad guy, he's all about like getting to pilot and be the biggest thing on the planet. So if they died, that wouldn't have sort of the same kind of impact as if her as a frontline soldier is like, this is just kind of ridiculous. I'm doing the thing for the loyalty to my brother and the to get the weapon that will stop the war. But I don't really want this war. I've met this nice Fetty. He's a good guy. Seems kind of cool. He's got my watch. I got to make sure I get my watch back. You know what I mean? It's like, so it would be more impactful to have her die or Shiro die. Either or. I mean, those two. But I think it would be more meaningful if he survived. And that's it. His entire team's pretty much out of commission, and he's the only like, oh my god, what happened? And I hope that doesn't happen. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope they get all rotated back to like Hawaii and they just hang out.
Okay, cool. Well, we will find out.
Yes.
And we will come back next week with the next 3 episodes of Mobile Suit Gundam.
I might be crying. Who knows?
They may all be dead within episode 7. We'll see.
Boy! And then it starts over with a new MSO.
Yeah.
Oh my god, jeez.
They found Sanders' diary. Oh my god!
Well, he makes Colonel at some point.
Like Space 1999, where they would kill off a character every 4 episodes. Yeah, they killed off a lot of kids, and that was very much kind of the point. Is that nobody's safe. Like it's war, and they would just throw off like named characters and be done.
Oh gosh. I mean, I've said it so many times. Once Mommy died, no spoilers. So I'm not going to say what show it was, but once Mommy died, I stopped watching. I'm like, nope. I love this character. Nope, not doing it anymore. Thank you.
I hear that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
All right. That will do it. We're going to take a quick break for just a few minutes, and we'll be right back to talk about more modern anime and the latest anime news. Let me see if I can pull up the trivia. There it is.
Ooh.
And we'll be back in just a few minutes. Be right. Almost back. Hold on. There we go. Do that. Cool. You may still hear some microphones up in the background, guys. That's okay.
Well, I would hit the mute button, so take care of that.
Should I change to some weirder music, perhaps? Let's see what else we have here. Like, what can we do? Into space?
Into space.
How about deep psycho funk?
Deep psycho funk.
Well, according for this tutu, I have Feeding the Ducks.
Oh, yeah.
That's different.
Somebody shut that duck up. Ah,
Okay.
wow.
That is sound. Definitely happening there.
Not what I'm wanting to wake up to.
No. All right. And we are back.
Ah,
Welcome back, everyone. Let's take a moment, a little breather, talk about the anime we've been watching. Folks in the chat, please let us know what you've been watching lately and any questions you have for the three of us. John, how about you?
I have been watching like a lot of it.
Oh, okay, cool.
Sweet.
Well, you figure Saturday now I'm structuring my day so that when you're not streaming at night, so I am getting Genshin out of the way, getting dog walking out of the way, and then I anime. And then last Sunday, not feeling great, I just sat back and just watched anime all day.
Nice.
So
Your kids, they're so cute.
yeah, I mean that's the nice thing about it. You just hit pause, and you're not flying through the middle of like Liyue, gliding. You're like, I have to suddenly run. You're like, no. And I had this Friday off, and I took the car in, and since I've got Crunchyroll and Funimation, I sat at the car dealership for like 2.5 hours, getting the alignment done, oil changed, all that kind of stuff, and I just watched Licorice Recoil. Devil is a part-timer. Black Summoner, all these bits and pieces of everything I watched. I was like, oh my goodness.
Nice.
My stepsister is my ex. All the new season shows I've caught up, I think, to like the current episode of all the new seasons. Cool. I got more Yurideko in. And dude, Yurideko is a funky show. I mean, they even
Not surprised.
Well, there was an episode done of Robot Chicken where they were doing Star Wars.
Right.
And Palpatine is like, well, I don't think it was Palpatine. I think it was actually Vader is like doing this sort of retrospective. And one of the things he's saying is like, that was pretty wizard. Why doesn't anybody say wizard anymore? I'm like, I don't understand what wizard is. That's kind of weird. They did that joke in Yurideko. We're like, oh man, that's pretty wizard. I'm like, excuse me? Wow.
Okay. It's kind of like in C-Lab when they made the whole joke that Gundam is a religion.
Yeah. Like I like seeing this kind of crossover stuff. So I've watched a ton. I was just looking at my anime list, and it's scroll down long. So it's like I've watched a lot. It's been good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
How about y'all?
Steve, how about you?
Been working selling booze because that's what I do. I sell booze. Not getting sick off of fish tacos, but selling booze. It hasn't been so much anime as it has been like Genshin Land because Sumeru opened up, and of course, me being the Genshin addict, just in there. Prepping for this weekend because it's a holiday weekend, so it's kind of busy. And we here in Baltimore, we had the bike race, the qualifier race for the Tour de France here.
Wow! Okay.
So, which means that like there's no parking, and my car was blocked, and so yay. Not so much anime, and that's John, I'm listening to you, and you're saying I'm building this time, and I'm like, yes, I have to do that now. Once upon a time, it was like, in my life, it was like, oh, okay, yeah, I got an hour or two here. Let's just put on the anime, whatever. Now my life is just like structured to the point where I'm just like going, I need to find a time to actually just watch. And for me, I don't even bother keeping a list of various anime that I need to watch because the list at this point would be ginormous, right? And so I'm very picky. So the anime that I am watching though is I'm rewatching, of course, Comey because watching that with Anna. And we got through the episode of the Cat Hotel episode, which Anna really liked, and
Cat Cafe.
Cat Cafe. That's right, Cat Cafe. and we just finished the episode where she is about the beginning of winter break, and she's out there getting the sweet potatoes.
Yes.
And she
And
gives
she
one.
can't talk to the sweet potato guy.
Right. And the guy's just like looking in the rearview mirror, and she's like, "Come back." But he's just like,
Yeah.
Okay. And of course, and then she gives him, Tadano a sweet potato, a hot sweet potato, and of course, it's just like, oh,
Yeah.
and I'm like going, yeah, it gets better. It gets better. But there's things that I want to get back into, like my God, I haven't even gotten past third episode of Spy Family. I got to finish up Eurocamp. I still haven't finished that.
Wow.
I know. I love that show, and I have to somehow make the time to actually be able to sit down and just go, which might actually happen this week because Anna's going to Alaska.
Going to Alaska?
Yeah, one of her sisters just got married.
I was going to say, I know it's hot in Baltimore, but really, that's kind of nice. You can put the AC on.
One of her sisters lives in Juneau, and they got married they had like a civil ceremony, but then they're going to have another little ceremony for another part of the family out there. And so she's going out there for a few days. So maybe I'll have some time to actually just sit down after work and just go, Crunchyroll, hit me. I wish it was like a Netflix. Yeah, I wish it was like a Netflix kind of function where you can just press a button and it goes, just show me. Just pick one for me. And just go. We'll go.
The randomizer.
Just wait for the news.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, then I'm going to shut up right now so we can get to the news.
How about you, Brent? How's your week?
Yeah.
So it's been quite a couple of weeks for me. I didn't go too many details there. I decided to go back and do some classics recently. So I watched, thanks to Steve's suggestion, actually last time we talked, episode 1 of Tenchi Universe, the first Tenchi TV series. And I went back to try that out again, and that was a fun bit of nostalgia to return to that franchise, see the sort of new origin stories of Ryoko and Mahoshi and the other characters there. That was a lot of fun. And then I saw a link to, on Gundam Info channel, the Gundam Seed remaster, HD remaster videos they put up there. And if they're not familiar, Gundam Seed was the 2003, I think, Gundam series, early 2000s Gundam series. Their first all-digital Gundam series. So no hand-painted cells. Still cell-based, but no hand-painted,
Right.
No paint, I should say. And they were still figuring out some of their animation processes at the time. So like maybe 5 years, 10 years ago, they went back to do a remaster, and they remastered it. Like they reanimated scenes.
Oh wow!
Oh damn!
Like they reworked things, added stuff to the background, fixed stuff that was wonky. There's a very major scene partway through the series involving the death of the character that they basically reanimated. Like everything's made from different angles and redone.
Wow!
So it was interesting going back and seeing that, and you couldn't tell in a sense. Like it's like, yeah, this is how it should have looked the entire time. Good job. But fun going back because I remember for me watching Seed, I was thoroughly sucked into that show, and watching it now, I realize how well paced the first episode is, of introducing characters, introducing problems in ways that are easy to digest, easy for the audience to understand, and then building on those and getting to a big climactic moment at the end of the episode. It really feels like a very satisfying first episode where you're like, okay, my feet are firmly planted and I want to know what happens next. Right.
Okay.
So that was really good to see. No legs poking through clothes. No, oh boy. And actually, and to Bandai's credit, like they put on their website like side by sides of
nice.
here's what it was, here's what we did, so you can actually see all the changes or a lot of the changes.
Nice.
So it's very cool. They did the same thing with Destiny. So that was fun going back and seeing some of the original stuff. I also got kind of obsessed about a week and a half ago. I mentioned here on the channel the Japanese storytelling art form of kamishibai.
Yeah.
Kamishibai. I haven't had a lot of like projects on my plate lately. I've been kind of cutting things down, so this became my project. I now own and have read every English language book about kamishibai that is listed on Amazon.
Wow.
And also, I kind of oops. 1 second. I kind of also did. I did this. So I actually built a kamishibai stage.
Nice.
See if there's a better way of doing it. There we go.
Nice.
Where you can actually tell a story. And some folks in the chat will recognize this. You can kind of go from card to card and kind of tell your story with the classic kamishibai approach. Card by card, going through and telling little stories. That's been kind of one of my big projects lately. Literally recreating a dead 50-year-old Japanese storytelling medium. Yes, that is Alpha from Yokohama Kadashi Kiko, and this is a kind of a prototype of what this might look like as a kamishibai story. And so you're going to tell these stories and maybe a little bit more of a card, So there's a motorcycle. Yeah. This has been a fun kind of project for me to explore more and to know kind of all the details of kamishibai. I did not realize the kamishibai had basically 2 phases in Japan. It was popular pre-war and then also post-war. And the reason had a lot to do with money. The fact that there was a massive economic downturn in the 30s and a lot of men on the street who became kamishibai, and then kind of the same thing post-war.
Yeah.
Which drove a lot of men on the street.
Kamishibai does not require any electricity.
Exactly.
No. So you don't have to worry about whether the power plant has been rebuilt or was or pre-war, whether it was built at all.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a lot of interesting little factoids about that. Tens of thousands of kamishibai storytellers on the street, they say, at one time. And I had forgotten this, but when the television was introduced to Japan, it was called electric kamishibai. That was the actual word for it in Japan. Yeah. So kind of fun. But so this might show up in some of my panels in the future. Yes. This might be a thing to actually kind of talk about and reveal. And this definitely was a major inspiration for manga and anime. You can definitely see some strong inspiration moving forward from there.
Can you just imagine being at a convention and then just setting up an area and then just doing that, and just you present the story. Here's the little stage, and that's something for the for whomever wants to come in and just see it, and then we can just throw Pocky at everybody. Here's your candy. Here's your candy. Exactly.
Well, it makes me think of Otakon when the guy was setting up doing the mobile cosplay repair.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. He had the music going, and he had his little case on little legs, and it's like, it was as much a service as it was a performance.
Yeah.
So kamishibai,
I think you should do that, and then
I might do that.
And then I can. Where are the blocks?
Yes.
The little blocks. I'll be staying in the background going clack 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 clack. And John, you can throw out the Pocky at everybody.
Throw out the Pocky, take the hat around.
But no, seriously, that would be kind of fun if you were to do that at a convention. Just kind of just arbitrarily set up and just get an audience and just do the thing. That would be.
I have to figure out how to dress. That's the question.
Well, doing it naked would be really uncomfortable for everybody, but
yes.
Depending on the story,
there might be laws involved.
People who are under 18, it might be really weird in that panel. But since our last experience, just have it scheduled at 5 p.m. 18 plus.
Yeah, right.
What?
Yeah, and then do the children's stories at 10 p.m.
Exactly.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
That seems to be how that works.
Or 1 a.m. You can go either
right.
way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. That makes
It's done. It's done.
Flashbacks.
It's done.
Flashbacks.
Yeah, it's done. It's all gone now.
We all survived. Well, we survived.
Yeah. Well, we survived.
Don't hear that? All right, are we, yep, yeah, cool, excellent, perfect. Welcome to the latest anime news for the week ending September 4th, 2022. Perfectly done. So let's begin with, of course, Umumusume Pretty Derby is getting a stage play.
Wow.
Because what doesn't, right? You've got to have that. It'll open January 2023, and according to the press release, it will include singing, dancing, and racing.
Okay.
Look. If you can pachinko it, you can play it.
This
okay?
is true.
You know?
Yes.
And its debut is going to be at the Hong Kong Jockey Club.
Cool.
I just feel like
there's going to be racing. I mean,
it's going to be racing.
I'm not sure I'd be down for that audition. Can you dance? Yes. Can you sing? Yes. How do you feel about foot races? Sorry, what?
Okay. So, like, I just feel like this is going to go to the totally wrong audience.
People who like foot racing?
No, people who like horse girls, or should I say pony girls?
Don't kink shame, Steve. Don't kink shame.
Exactly. They've announced 4. These are the 4 new cast members. One of them was in one of the Umusume anime. The others are not, presumably original characters.
Oh, okay.
I can't wait to see the costumes. Right, because they're going to have the ears and the tail, right? It's going to have to be a thing on the costumes. So I just, I'm just imagining them, dancing around the stage while an ear flaps off.
The tail pops out. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say doing the foot race and the various parts of the costume just fly off.
Exactly.
Whoops.
Oh my goodness.
In fairness, go ahead.
The low budget version is just going to be the BoJack Horseman rubber horse head. It's going to be people wearing those. Be like, oh wow, deeply disturbing. But go ahead, yes.
No, it's just it's intriguing. I don't know.
I need to be drunk.
I do suspect the racing will be abstracted.
Yeah, like pulling models of horses across the screen or something.
Yeah,
something.
I think, this is going to be something ridiculous. You're right. The race costumes are very elaborate, so I don't know. It's going to be interesting. We also have some other fun. I just had to include this for weird news. It's not really anime related. It's light novel related, but I just wanted to talk about it. We're unfortunately only getting 4 volumes for the light novel series. I Kissed My Girlfriend's Little Sister.
Oh boy. Well, that'll be an anime next season.
Yes, absolutely.
There will be a stage play. I mean,
allow me to quote from the English publisher's website. It's been a month since I started dating Haruka, my first ever girlfriend. We even finally reached first base today, holding hands. Today is also special for a different reason. My dad's getting remarried, which means I get a new stepsister. Her name is Shigure, and she's pretty much the spitting image of Haruka. Wait for it. That's no surprise, though, given that she's actually Haruka's long-lost twin sister. Due to family circumstances, they were split up at birth. Now, just in case you're wondering, is this really what I think it is? There's then a quote from Shigure. It's okay, bro. I look exactly like Sis does, right down to, well, I don't blame you at all. End quote. Her presence adds a new form of love that tangles itself into our protagonist's passionate love life. He can't possibly tell his girlfriend what's been going on. Be sure to check out this saucy rom-com with a rather needy stepsister. Yep.
I just know where this is going. I mean, it's just going to unprotected hand holding, and that leads to
I know.
Right. I mean, we all know.
Gosh. How dare they? How dare they?
Well,
but
I'm
yes,
sure the pachinko machines will do well. With the it'll have the screens of the things that they won't mention. Like,
right. Exactly. Yeah.
The intense hand holding.
Yes.
Gripping tightly.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah. You're just straight up.
I can't wait for us to watch this on the watching party. And, let's see, it's 2022 now, so it's probably at least 2 years
6
before
months.
it gets adapted. Well, no, it's probably about 2 years get adapted and released. So we're gonna look for this in 2024.
Okay. Yep. We'll keep an eye there. I'm just writing down in chat. There'll be a bath scene.
Oh yeah.
Episode 1. There's got to be a bath scene. Come on,
gratuitous Pansu shots. Yeah.
Don't leave that on the table. Come on.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to slightly less creepy news.
Yes.
But nonetheless, kind of unfortunate. COVID-19 has delayed episode 8 of Uncle from Another World indefinitely.
Oh.
What?
Yeah. Due to, quote, rapid increases in COVID-19 infections, end quote, within the studios working on the show. They already delayed episode 5 by 2 weeks for similar reasons. And they're just going to rerun episodes 3 through 6 for now, while they kind of figure out what's going on.
I only just got access to that show. I was like so excited to be like, I can just binge watch to the end. You're like,
yeah. Now we had a news story last week about an episode delayed for another show.
That's right. Yeah.
For COVID-19. So apparently there's a new spread throughout the anime studios. Granted, I've seen pictures of anime studios. They're not exactly big.
Yeah. Obviously not the most hygienic places either.
Not necessarily. So.
Oh boy.
I wonder if this will be a thing. If we'll see some more delays from other shows.
It's like it was 2 years ago when things started getting delayed because of this.
Yeah.
Just as we're getting announcements that Japan is relaxing standards on foreign travel, I hope this is not like suddenly going to snap this closed again.
Yeah, great point.
Don't do that.
Great point. Yeah. I haven't heard of an episode being delayed indefinitely in a long time.
Yeah.
That's pretty for any reason.
Except for Uzumaki, that's never going to show on Adult Swim or whatever.
So,
all right.
Kind of weird. Let's move on to some sort of general anime news, especially some happier news. G-Kids has put all of Studio Ghibli online streaming available. You can stream every Studio Ghibli movie now.
Nice.
Oh wow!
Cool. Not in the HBO. Yeah, it's not just in the HBO Max jail anymore. You can just go and do it.
Oh, that's really good. That's great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Now, technically, they basically released them on Apple TV and Amazon and Google Play and Microsoft and all the different platforms, right? But if you go to gkidsdigital.com, you can go from there to all the different places and stream them. And they're basically $5 per rent. Rent for $5, you get it for, however many days.
Yeah.
So there we go.
That's really nice. If you're not a Ghibli fan, or not, I'm sorry, you're not a person that exposed that much to all that Ghibli.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's a crossover name. People who are not anime people know what Ghibli is.
Yeah.
Actually, the sister-in-law that's getting married out there, she is a Ghibli fan. She's not an anime fan, but she's a Ghibli fan.
Ah.
So she loves Totoro. But this is one of those things where it's just like, this is great for people who have heard of Ghibli and heard of the great things, and parents as well who are just like, I need something that's not Paw Patrol for my kid, and have this, just this nice place where you can go and go, okay, you go for $5, you get this. Here you go.
Yep.
That's really nice. That's great.
Absolutely.
That's really great.
Yeah. Castle in the Sky, Cat Returns, Earwig and the Witch, From Puppy Hill, Howl's Moving Castle, Kiki, Totoro, My Neighbors the Yamadas, Nausicaa, Ocean Waves, Only Yesterday, Pompoko, Ponyo, Porco Rosso, Mononoke, Arrietty, Spirited Away, Princess Kaguya, Earthsea, When Marnie Was There, Whisper the Heart, Windrush.
That's nice.
Earwig the Witch. I gotta
nice.
see Earwig the Witch. I want to so see that.
Yeah, very curious. So yeah, just good news.
Yeah.
Sweet.
What's funny is if you scroll down to the bottom of gkidsdigital.com, you get all of the copyright notices. And there are multiple different ones for different films. So like Totoro, copyright 88, Studio Ghibli. He's literally serious copyright by Eiko Kodono in Studio Ghibli because she's the author of the original book. Right? Spirited Away, copyright Studio Ghibli, and NDDTM, which was a company they worked with on that. So it's kind of interesting. Oh, yeah, there are these various organizations that you have to kind of work with as well as Ghibli because it's a thing.
The maze of people to get releases from.
Exactly, yeah. Moving on to some Gundam news because we do love our Gundam.
We do.
Kukuru's Jones Island has made 1 billion yen.
Wow.
In the box office. And I put up the poster here because it's hard finding images from this anime. From the original or from the original or from the movie. They've sold 550,000 tickets, making 1.08 billion yen. That's about $7.79 million US. So, you know, adjust expectations there. It opened on June 3rd, where they sold 200,000 tickets, totaling 400 million yen in 3 days.
Wow.
Holy cow.
Yep. So that film's doing pretty well. Good for Gundam. Let's move on to license check. There's been some announcements of some license stuff coming up. Crunchyroll, in particular, adding a ton of things to their catalog. A bunch of anime films coming to Crunchyroll.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, a couple of days ago, they added Afro Samurai Resurrection and Bang Dream, Puppin Dream.
Okay.
September 8th, they're adding the Odd Taxi movie.
Yes.
Oh god, I gotta finish Odd Taxi too.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I'm on that boat.
And the 3 Psychopaths movies.
Oh wow. Okay.
September 15th, they're adding The Girl Who Lived Through Time.
We should watch that.
Sword of the Stranger.
What's that?
And the Sword of the Stranger.
Oh, okay.
And the Black Butler movie. Just interesting combination there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 25th, Jujutsu Kaisen 0, which is a pretty big get because that did very, very, very well. Number 22nd, they're showing all 4 of the free Iwatobi Swim Club movies.
Oh my god! So basically, the site's gonna crash.
Wow.
Jeez.
There are 4 of those.
Okay.
And September 29th, they're showing all 4 Code Geass movies because there are 4 of those.
I didn't. There's 4.
Yeah. Lucia
How did I
running
miss-
1, 2, 3, and then Resurrection using the sort of Evangelion thing.
Jeez.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. What's interesting to me about this is the mix. So you're obviously Odd Taxi, very recent, but you know, Afro Samurai, Free, Code Geass, Black Butler, all kind of older shows.
Yeah.
So again, no complaints, but kind of interesting. And
Afro
nice seeing
Samurai.
movies on Crunchyroll. Sorry.
Yeah. Afro Samurai. Did you guys ever watch that?
No.
Only bits and pieces of it late night on like Toonami.
Yeah. It's an odd one. It's well, how do I explain it? It's messy. Like
Okay.
It's messy in terms of, and it's purposely so in terms of the animation because that's the point that they're trying to drive home actually with it. And it's just it's kind of chaotic. So I can only imagine what the film is going to be like.
Yeah. Interesting. To go with Samuel L. Jackson, I am Afro Samurai.
Well, you know, he's lent his voice to a new CGI movie. I don't think it's Pixar, but it's something else, where this dog dresses up in the Bruce Lee yellow jumpsuit, and he has to become a samurai to protect the town of cats. And Samuel L. Jackson does the voice of the cat who's training him to be a samurai.
Wow!
Right.
Yeah. Think Kung Fu Panda, but just odd. And there's a scene where Samuel L. Jackson goes, "Where is the mother of the father of the Cocker Spaniel?"
Nice.
The kids are gonna go ha ha ha, and the adults are gonna go, "Oh my god!" Until they grow up.
Okay.
I remember watching an interview with Samuel L. Jackson, and somebody basically asked, "What is your criterion for choosing roles for films?" And he said, "I choose the roles that my 12-year-old self would want me to play." When I was 12, going to the theater and watching all of these, ridiculous movies, kung fu movies, all that kind of stuff, I'm choosing those roles.
I see the logic. Actually, I can actually see that logic.
Yep.
Well, if you're gonna do it, might as well have fun with it, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sure, absolutely. Especially at this level, why not?
Yeah.
Speaking of older anime, Netflix has licensed a bunch of stuff. 13 older anime coming to Netflix. A couple of days ago, they added the 2011 Hunter x Hunter, also Iran High School Host Club.
So they're bringing that back. Okay.
And Claymore.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
Claymore.
Huh.
Yeah. All three of those are on
Interesting.
Netflix now in various countries. Obviously,
Right.
like country licensing issue. Later on, they're going to add Death Note and its 2 films, anime.
Okay.
From Me to You, both seasons. The
Oh.
1997 Berserk.
Oh wow.
Oh no, we're gonna need to watch that.
Parasite the Maxim.
Oh, okay. Okay. Gotcha.
Nana.
Oh.
Yeah, we're done.
Damn. Okay.
The 2000 remake of Hajime no Ippo.
Ooh.
And wait for it, Monster. Naoki Urasawa's masterpiece, Monster, about the surge at the whole. That's coming to Netflix.
Damn. Wow. They were doing some serious license work on that stuff. Holy. Wow.
So and obviously Hunter x Hunter recent stuff like that, but most of them older anime in 90s, 2000s.
Yeah. No
Would you have ever thought of saying Death Note? God, that's an old anime. It's just like I was just watching that the other day.
Mm-hmm. Very sad. Also this week, so we want to mention in passing, Puppet Epic Season 2 is coming October 1st.
Wow.
It'll stream in Japan on Amazon Prime Video.
Really?
Yeah.
The last thing on the scroll.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Puppet Epic first came out in January 2018. It streamed on. Here's the thing. I was trying to figure out where they're going to stream Puppet Epic. It originally streamed on High Dive, Funimation, Crunchyroll, Asian Crush, and Amazon.
Yep. It was in a lot of places at the same time.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about that. And then it came on Netflix. Kengan Ashura Season 2 coming to Netflix in 2023. And the Lucky Star manga is coming back November 10th.
Oh my god!
After a long hiatus.
8-year hiatus. Yep.
Yeah.
It's been a while. Switching magazines to a new Katakawa brand new magazine. I could find nothing in my internet search. It was in Comtique back in the day. Now it's in Mitaina. I can find nothing about Mitaina online other than news articles saying that the new Lucky Star manga will be published in Mitaina.
Oh wow!
So it's like this is like issue 3 it's going to be in. So I don't know what the goal theme of the magazine is, whatever. But yeah, Lucky Star manga
to bring back Lucky Star. That's its only goal.
Pretty much.
Yay for them!
Kind of interesting. I wonder if I doubt.
Bless you.
Thank you. I doubt that we will see a season 2.
I can have hope. Let me have hope.
We can all have hope, but I think if we don't have a Haruhi season 3, a Lucky Star season 2 seems unlikely. But who knows?
But they've been spending 8 years collecting material, getting ready for this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so it'll be rich and dense and just hysterical. And season 2, the anime it'll just do itself. It'll just magically happen.
I wonder, could you go back? Would it feel the same after that long of a hiatus? would this, could you just go back to that style and replicate it, or would it just naturally, just from the fact that you had different people, whatever, working on it?
Yeah.
It's the same studio.
Or it could be a love drama between Lucky Star and Kanata.
True, it'd certainly be that. But I mean, in a world of X-Men '97,
True.
which I don't know if you guys heard about this.
No.
So Marvel announced, the X-Men '92, X-Men '90s cartoon series.
Yeah.
Right.
They've announced season 6.
Like just now?
Yeah. They're going to go back and make a new season 6, and they've. I was very suspicious, and they released screenshots, and it looks like the original animation, like very similar character designs. They're just like, yeah, we're going to go and continue that show, like it never stopped.
There's such a cult fan base behind that
Yeah.
show. It's not even funny.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even funny.
Yeah.
I just impressed at the idea of trying to make it look like.
I know.
Like,
a very.
wow.
I mean, Wolverine is in yellow spandex. It is very much. I mean, product of its time.
Well, this puts all this into context because they're releasing season 27 of the Odd Couple. So that's all. Everything is old is new.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. So maybe there's hope for Lucky Star.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I now that you've said that though, Brent, it does kind of make me wonder. It's like my having intersected with Lucky Star was at a particular place in time that made that funny at that moment.
Yep.
But for nostalgia, if there would ever be a second season, would I be in a place in my life where I would intersect it in that same kind of way and be like, oh, this is just comedy gold? Or would I look at it and be like, yeah, you should have just left it season 1. It doesn't speak to me in the same way now. So.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Anybody want a chocolate coronet?
I just love that.
Oh man.
Kanata's terrible singing makes me laugh every time.
Well, maybe a season 2 will hit the right note.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah.
Who knows? If I can just get more of the what's her name from the end credits? The voice actor Chan, who's doing the end credits.
Oh yeah.
The bipolar end credits character. I was getting more of that. Thank you very much. Anyway, that's all for the news this week. Thanks for watching. We will see you all next week. Ooh, big line. Big line
tonight.
Yeah, very liney.
That's what happens when you put the hat in a hot dryer.
Yeah, got to watch that. Got to be careful. John and Chad, I think they're going for as many of the same voice actors as possible for X-Men '97. I think they are trying to kind of go back to that well as much as possible. But again, it's been 25 years.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
A lot of folks aren't going to sound the same. I just watched this past week actually an NHK documentary, not a documentary, but an episode of a show on various various singers for anime, and they had on there the woman who sang one of the theme songs for Zeta Gundam, who was releasing a new album, a new song, like 2 years ago. So long career. And they're talking about about that, and she said the thing is that Tomino told her this: don't worry about trying to replicate what you sounded like. Remember how the song made you feel. Sing the emotions of the song, not that replication. And so, presumably they go back and they're not going to sound exactly the same. Their voice isn't going to be exactly the same. They could still, still make it work. I think. I have no idea what they're
like when I go to a concert. I want the band to sing everything like I heard it on the CD or on the MP.
That's why we go to a concert, right?
Exactly.
We go to a concert for.
I don't want any artistic license. I don't want anything different. It's all got to be the same.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Then you would have been very surprised by the Blondie concert because she sounded amazingly like 1981 Call.
Wow.
It was really, really pretty good.
Yeah, I watched the you guys talking about that. I'm like, wow, she's 77.
77.
Holy.
Yeah.
Good for her.
And she got up there and she did it for 2 hours. And, you could tell her voice was kind of getting weak at the end of it, but still, like,
Sure.
77 years old, and you're still doing it. And I had forgotten that she has a little bit of a mouth on her.
Yeah.
And because, Blondie was originally punk back in the day.
True.
And so she was, talking some stuff. And we were just like, oh, yeah. Yeah, cool. I can't repeat it. It's technology. We're not quite 10 o'clock yet.
Fair enough. We're not quite kissing my little sister.
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I have a question for you all.
Oh.
What
did we learn
on the show
tonight?
Except I did that wrong. I did not do that right because of history. I completely forgot about history. We got to do the history. That was completely wrong of me. I apologize. We'll get back to it. Keep it in mind. Remember what you learned. Maybe you'll learn more.
Take 2.
We'll find out. Yeah, take 22. Welcome to This Week in Anime History, where we talk about things that happened this week in anime history. Let's rewind the clock back to September 4th, 1963.
Ooh.
Very early on.
Wow.
This is the premiere of Hermit Village, aka Sennen Buraku, the first late night anime.
Oh, right, that. Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
I think I remember that.
Yep. So this aired way late at night.
It.
Very much aimed at adults. I've got a chance to watch some of it, and the best way I can describe it is kind of like classic Playboy cartoons. Where it's raunchy, but a little more intellectual, a little more,
highbrow filth.
Highbrow. That's a great way.
Yes. Yeah.
Very interesting. Very mod. Very, very different. Interesting, but also no translation. So I was watching it raw, so I was like,
no context.
Okay. I guess.
I was going to say they probably were not, addressing the sort of pithy issues of the day. I'd imagine. So you probably were getting as much watching it without translation.
I don't know. They were very plotty, where it's like, okay, now we're in a graveyard, and there are ghosts, and what are the ghosts talking about, all that kind of stuff. So there were some scenes where I was like, clearly, I'm supposed to be laughing at this. I don't know.
What do you think of JFK's policies towards South Vietnam? What? Whoa, hey, what's this cartoon doing here?
And her top flies off.
Yeah.
Very odd. Zipping forward to, but yeah, if you get a chance to find Hermit Village online, or find a copy, check it out. It's very visually interesting. It's very unusual. Obviously, very limited animation, but piece of history. Moving forward to 1972, the month of September, we don't have a date or a day, but we do know Studio Sunrise was founded in September of 1972. No one can remember the exact day.
They were partying, having fun. Nobody really knows.
But yes, the legendary studio that made Gundam and Code Geass and a lot of other shows, founded at this time, specifically with a remit to kind of create mecha series. Like, it was very much their goal to create toy-driven mecha series and kind of partner with toy licensors and so forth to find that happy marriage between, you design the toys, we tell the story, and we can kind of make that work in concert. So good for them. It worked. Pretty darn well. Moving forward to August 31st, 2007, the birth of a certain virtual idol named Hatsune Miku.
Oh, Miku.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
2007.
Yeah.
Jeez.
It is technically Hatsune Miku's birthday. More specifically, her software was released August 31st, 2007. After several earlier versions of their music software bombed terribly because it was just generic, make songs with a voice.
Right.
and nobody bought it. And then they said, let's put a cute anime girl on the cover. Guess what?
Surprise, surprise.
All the otaku wallets opened at the same time.
Exactly.
Take my money. Take it all.
And a million fan fiction boats were launched.
Yep.
And fan art and so forth and so on.
And the folks who make the little Hatsune Miku hologram that greets you when you come home, you know.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yep. It's crazy to think how massive the universe of Hatsune Miku has become. And how quickly it grew early. Like that was very much a meme in the traditional, the classic sense of it, where that went viral hugely. That was just nuts.
Well, I never realized. I mean, early on in, I'm like, oh, I knew who this is. I saw the little thing on David Letterman when she was talking to him.
Oh yeah.
And then I watched her Crunchyroll had it for a while. I don't think it's still on there, but it was. They had it in their catalog. It was her concert in Indonesia.
Okay.
And I didn't realize it's not just Miku. There's like an entire barn full of freaking characters.
Mm-hmm.
So she's up there singing beautiful. The programming choreography was she was doing some song that had sakura petals blowing in the background. I was just like, I feel like I'm meeting Izuma. What's going on? And then she finished the song and she, thanks everybody in the audience. Then she goes off stage, and then all of a sudden these twins show up and start singing. I'm like, who are these? They finished another character. I'm like, what is going on?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, this is really, really a cool thing. I'm glad to be alive now.
Yeah.
Life has meaning.
Yeah. Before this, I was swinging by a rope. But right that moment, I'm like, hell yeah. It's time to live again.
Well, and here's what's so smart. Like Miku Miku Dance, the software that you can use to do the dance, all that stuff, released 2008, 14 years ago. And they released that for free. It is freeware. You cannot use the characters without permission for commercial reasons.
Sure.
Rather than that, fan art, whatever, you're good to go.
Huh.
How brilliant is that?
Wow. Yeah. Dang.
So, and that includes Hatsune Miku, Kagamine Rin, Kagamine Len, the twins, Kaito, Meiko, and Luca, Megumi and Luca. Very, very smart. So Miku's been around for a while and kind of crazy. Yeah, she's technically 30 years old. It's when the software, all that kind of stuff. But
wow.
Anyway.
If this were an anime, she would be 30 years old, smoking a cigarette, going, "I remember back when I was an idol."
Yeah.
I remember back when my processing power was no better than a Casio. And now they get processing power, all these interweave stuff, cloud, something.
On the Hatsune Miku Wikipedia page, there is a picture of the Good Smile Racing Mercedes AMG GT3 at Fuji Speedway in 2018 with Hatsune Miku on the side.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Pretty impressive. And of course, Niku Niku Doga being a major source of all the videos, all that kind of stuff. Pretty crazy. That's all the news for this week. Thanks for watching. See you all next week. Now, what did we learn? Boy, I learned nothing. No. I learned everything will eventually get a stage play.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And I learned to my happiness that old anime still has an audience. And that even like the really big names are going to go back and license those and pull those in. Like I figured that kind of stuff would kind of eventually make it to the fan sites and make it to the various streaming services. Like Netflix and Crunchyroll are like, no, we're going to pull those in and show them. Awesome. Glad to see.
Yeah.
John, how about you?
What things have I learned? Hatsune Miku
not to
is
eat
awesome.
certain fish.
Not to eat certain fish. Don't eat mystery fish. That getting the entire Ghibli catalog into functional circulation. Huzzah!
Mhm.
Because now some of the
Indeed.
things I've wanted to see, like Earwig the Witch, I can see.
Yep.
Yes.
Hooray! And also, it's really good to hear that they're Crunchyroll's bringing on board more movie kind of stuff
Yeah.
because they please bring the Eurocamp movie on board, please, please. And whatever other movie bits and pieces they can get their hands on, because in the greater universe of things, you can find those things. But I would prefer to go with the legit sources, and that way everything's above board and everything's cool, and there's some kind of better guarantee of quality.
Yeah.
There's some kind of better guarantee there's not something embedded in the code that's gonna do something terrible to you. I just
Fewer pop-ups.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're pop-ups or that magic moment when you're going, okay, while you're watching the Miku concert, we're just gonna take your credit card.
Yeah.
And
or you're watching things
watch Miku. Watch Miku. Don't pay attention.
Yeah. Or the screen just freezes and no commands work on the computer, and you're like,
Yes.
"Oh, I'm gonna have to hard restart because this is not good." So, yeah, there we go.
I was at my Kindle this week doing that.
Your Kindle locked up?
Yep.
Oh.
Oof.
Did you lose things or did you?
No.
Okay. Thank goodness.
It was going to like a web page where there's a link to a web page and a thing. It loaded a web page and they're like, nope. We have this web page is just not something we can actually handle. Like, fair enough.
Yeah. This ain't happening. So yes, I've learned those things: food things, anime things, stage play, tap dance. Yes, and Lucky Star.
And Lucky Star. Yes, yay!
All the good things.
Steve?
Well, I don't learn. It's just like smashing my face into a brick wall. No, I actually learned this week that much to my absurd happiness, I don't know why I'm so happy about it, but I am, that G Kids is providing access to something that goes beyond being a fan of anime. This is something that can be a gateway to anime for a lot of people, but this is something that, Ghibli stuff is quality. Let's just call it what it is. It's quality stuff. And so it's really nice to have finally a place where people can go, okay, let's go down the list and we can get it here instead of going, oh, I want to watch this. Okay, well, let's go on Roku. Okay, God, we're just on, and try and finding it. So I'm learned that is a wonderful thing, and I can't wait to tell my sister, one of my sister-in-laws, that she can watch whatever she wants to watch of Ghibli. Another thing that I learned is that not to kink shame, and I shouldn't, but I just think it's kind of interesting that we can take a legitimate non-hentai anime and just make it sound like it's going to be like this weird pony girl hentai thing going to happen in real life on stage.
Pony girl is different. That's
okay.
Yeah. Get it?
Yeah. So it's just I learned that like you said, John, anything, and like you guys said, anything can become a stage play, but should it? Should it really? And I have no interest at all whatsoever. I've learned that while there are many things in the world where I just go, no interest. Kissing your little sister light novels will not be on my bookshelves, and I think
it'll be on your digital Kindle.
It'll be on my digital Kindle, constantly giving me like downloading viruses and Trojanware and just whatever, because that's just how that works. I've learned that this is something I didn't talk about earlier. I've learned that if you really want to introduce someone to Japanese culture, you should show them on YouTube all 6 episodes of the Long Guy gummy commercials.
Okay.
That we saw at Otakon.
Yes.
Yeah. And John, you're gonna have to watch these. And it's a legit product. It's a legit product, and it's a legitimate product, and it is legitimate commercials that tell a story over 6 different advertisements.
Yeah.
And the guy who actually plays the Long Guy did a short 3-minute interview where he was sitting in his place talking about playing the Long Guy and how grateful he was to have this part. which was kind of interesting.
Mhm.
Was this the thing? It was like a ribbon tape candy kind of thing where he like spools it out.
Yep,
The girl, her boyfriend's eating. Okay,
that's the one.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I know what we're talking about.
Yep.
Now I know where we are.
Yep.
And last but not least, I have learned that once I schedule the time, I'm so glad that now that I am going to commit myself to scheduling time to watch anime, that Crunchyroll and Netflix are actually throwing some stuff up there that I want to watch, that I should watch. Maybe some of this is going to be repeat watching, when some of this would be new to me. But it's just nice to have, here we go, here's some anime for all of you. And I think that we might want to have a special thank you thrown out there from back in the day of Mugen Train, because I have a feeling Mugen Train is kind of what started all of this.
Yeah, could be.
That's my theory. That's my favorite theory. And so with that, I say anime is lovely. Please watch it. I've learned that I need to watch more. It'll make you happy. Anime will make you happy.
It'll improve your life. It'll make you taller. It'll make you grow hair.
No.
Oh.
Damn luck.
Rats.
And on that note, thank you all for watching. We'll be back next week with the next few episodes of Gundam 8th MS Team. And please tune in November 12th for the next OnCon. We will have a bunch of panels from familiar faces doing that.
From faraway places.
From faraway places. And we will see you then. Take care.
Bye.
Until next time. Watch more anime.
Oyasuminasai, Johnny.
Goodbye, Mr. Cat. See ya.